Podcast. Presented by XFL2K.com. With your host, Tron Hawkins.
Welcome to This is the XFL Podcast. I am your host, Tron Hawkins, as you can tell by the opening. Thank you, XFL2K.com, for that, and thank you for sponsoring my show. Today's show's going to be interesting. You know, I got some good reviews on the Isaac Bruce episode. So in this one, I was like, let's do something different. Let's talk about somebody that maybe you never heard of. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about three CFL quarterbacks that I think could do good in the XFL. And the reason why I think CFL players could work in the XFL is because, if you think about it, XFL is already borrowing some rules from the CFL, like the 5-yard halo and stuff like that. So why not borrow some of their players, you know? Instead of getting some scrubs or some washouts in the NFL, why don't you get some stars from up north that want to come down here and prove themselves in America, playing America's game? Whether we know it or not, football is America's game now. You know, you don't see new baseball leagues starting, new basketball leagues starting, or new hockey leagues starting. It's new football leagues. So I'm going to talk about three CFL quarterbacks today. You probably never heard of them. That's what I'm here for, to give y'all information. That's what makes me different from all the other XFL podcasts, and that is why I am the most followed XFL podcast on the Twitter. Thank you for all the support and everything. And again, leave reviews on all the podcast platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, all of them. So let's get started. The first quarterback I'm talking about is Levi Mitchell. He is a quarterback for the Calgary Stampeders. He signed with them in 2012 and became the team start quarterback in 2014. He's already set a bunch of club records, including the best record for a first-time start quarterback. He went 12-1 his first year. He also, in that same year, won the 102nd Grey Cup, the CFL's most outstanding player in 2016-2018, and he also won the 106th Grey Cup. He became the first QB to start and win multiple Grey Cups with the Stampeders organization. So, you know, he's fairly young. He is, let's see here. He is 28. He's 6'2", 198. So he's not huge. Which, you know, I mean, 6'2" is pretty big, but 198 is not for an NFL quarterback. However, for XFL quarterback, the guy, they said they'd be looking for guys that didn't have the right build for the NFL, or that got overlooked for being too small or too slow and stuff like that. So I think he fits in perfectly with that. He went to high school in Texas. He played 2 seasons at SMU. He started all 19 games that he played in. That year, those 2 years at SMU, he completed 385 of 676 passes, which is 57%, with 4,590 yards, 36 touchdowns, 33 picks. So not the greatest, time. Sophomore in 2009, he started the first 7 games, but he got hurt and missed the rest of the season. They was 3-4 under him. After that, though, they won 5 of the last 6, finished 8-5 without him. So he transferred to Eastern Washington, which is crazy enough, had previously tried to recruit him to come there before he went to SMU. He helped lead them to the FCS championship against Delaware. He was named the most outstanding player of that game, throwing 3 touchdowns in the final 16 minutes of the game, and had 302 yards in the game. So he can throw some, he can throw some dimes. He can score points in a hurry in bunches. And I think that's gonna be good for the XFL. I think the XFL is gonna be that kind of league that's gonna be like bam, touchdown, bam, touchdown, bam, touchdown. It's gonna be an offensive league. It's gonna be a quarterback-driven league. If you want a star quarterback, why don't you go get the guys that's done it up there in Canada? That's why I'm making this episode. In 2011, he led the FCS in 4 categories, including passing yards, 4,009 yards, touchdowns, 33, and he also broke 4 school records. He broke the EWU's record for single-season passing yards of 4,009, which ranked 17th in FCS history and 5th in Big Sky Conference history. He went on to win the Walter Payton Award as Best Offensive Player in the FCS. Won Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year. He was named to 7 All-American teams that season, earning first-team honors in 6 of them. He was the top quarterback selected by the Sports Network, American Football Coach Association, Walter Camp, Associated Press, Field Steel Publications, and Beyond Sports College Network. And wherever he goes, he gets awards. I mean, he gets the job done. He breaks records. He gets the job done. In high school, his team went 16-0 and won state championship. Where he goes, he wins. However, he went undrafted in 2012 draft, probably because of his size, like we talked about. At the end of that month, the Calgary Stampeders signed Mitchell to a free agent contract. He saw limited playing time in 2012-2013. In his first start, though, on July 26, 2013, he went 29-33 for 376 yards. In a big win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Mitchell won the Player of the Week that week up in the CFL. 2013, though, it was a big breakout year for him. He played significant time at quarterback in 5 of the games and appeared in 7 others. This is him as a backup. He completed 69.6% of his passing, had 1,556 yards with 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. On January 2014, he signed a contract extension with the Stampeders, which kept him through 2016. The first game of the season, he played 1 quarter, ended up with 76 passing yards and a win against the Blue Bombers. In the second week of the preseason, this is all preseason, I'm sorry. On opening day, he gave the Stampeders their first win of the season, 29-8 against the Montreal Alouettes. He had 313 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. On Thursday, July 24th, he tied Jeff Garcia's XFL record from consecutive career starts, going 7-0 with a 26-22 victory over the Edmonton Eskimos. In his first playoff start, he led Stampeders in a victory in the Western Final over division rival Edmonton, earning them both a berth in the Grey Cup. He and the Stampeders were going to defeat the Hamilton Tiger Cats 2016 in the 102nd Grey Cup. He was named MVP on his 25th birthday, March 3rd, 2015. He signed a contract extension to keep him there throughout the 2018 season. In his second full season with the Stampeders, he posted career highs in many passing quarterbacks in passing categories. They went 14-4 that year, good enough for second place in the Western Division behind the Eskimos, who beat them via tiebreaker. He set personal best in completions, attempts, yards, and touchdowns. He was named a CFL West All-Star. They knocked off the BC Lions in the Western Final, but they were eliminated by the Eskimos, who would go on to win the 103rd Grey Cup. He continued to improve though in the 2016 season, set career highs in passing attempts, completion yards, and touchdowns. He started all 16 games that regular season before being rested for the final game to get ready. He led them to a 15-1-1 record, including a 15-game unbeaten streak, which set an CFL record. For most consecutive wins by a starting quarterback. Him and the Stampeders dismantled the BC Lions in the Western Final 42-15, event to the Grey Cup in the process. Prior to the Grey Cup, Mitchell named the most outstanding player again. Him and the Stampeders played in 3 consecutive Grey Cup matches starting in 2016, losing the first 2, the 104th and 105th, before winning the 106th, 27-16 over Colorado Red Blacks. Similar to the 2014 season, Mitchell was named CFL's most outstanding player and Grey Cup's most valuable player. In 2018, he became the fastest quarterback to reach 60 wins in CFL history, only taking 62 starts to do so. 72 starts to do so. He got to 60 wins and went 60-12. That's amazing. Shortly after winning the Grey Cup, he announced he would be pursuing NFL opportunities before signing a CFL contract. Mitch became a free agent in February 2019. He will become. Attended his first NFL workout with Minnesota Vikings. More than 5 teams invited him to work out and 10 acquiring by him. He also worked out for Denver, Jacksonville, Buffalo, New York Giants, and the Chicago Bears. Here's my thing. Do I think he's going to get signed by any of those teams? Maybe as a backup. Why would you take that, though? Why would you take that when you can be a starting quarterback in Canada or in the XFL? They have to be reaching out to these CFL quarterbacks. They have to be. I would think so anyway. So, why would you do that? I think he would end up. Here's some of his stats. I do think he'll end up back in Canada with the XFL. I don't think he would want to be a backup without some guarantee. Maybe the Giants. All those other teams got quarterbacks for the future. Maybe not. Jacksonville and the Giants don't. Maybe in Denver, Jacksonville, and the Giants. But Minnesota and the Bears do. So I could see him, probably staying in the CFL, coming to us, coming to the XFL, coming to America. Come home. He's from America. This is his career stats. Passing completions, he had 1,850 on 2,860, passing attempts, which is good for 64.6%. Touchdown, the interception ratio 150 to 59. passing yards. He had 24,468. His career record 69, 15, and 2. So he's the first of the quarterbacks. He's the most well known. I've seen his name kind of thrown around to come to the XFL. So he's the first of this group I wanted to talk about because I think he is the best of the three. I got two more to talk about. I'm going to talk about Trevor Harris and Mike Riley in just a minute. Do you have a CPAP machine and tired of dealing with insurance companies about getting masks and seals and filters and a new machine? Well, come check out CooperMedicalSupplies.com. There you can pick out any mask you want, pick out any filters you want, pick out any machine you want. Just need a hose? Pay $7.50 and get you one. Without the hassle of going through insurance, here we will give you better prices and better customer service. So come check out CooperMedicalSupplies.com for all your CPAP needs and more. The next quarterback I want to talk about is Trevor Harris. He plays for the Ottawa Red Blacks of the Canadian Football League. He actually started out, he was signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars as an undrafted free agent in 2010. He played college football at Edinburgh University. At that university, he broke every career passing record in Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. So he played for a small school, and he was a two-time finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy awarded each year to the individual selected as the most valuable player in NCAA Division II. In college, like I said, he played in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. He was in Division II Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Earlier sophomore year, he broke the school's single-game passing record, leading the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette to predict. Accurately, it turned out that Harris would write out the school's record passing records. In 2008, he became the third Edinburgh player to be a finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy and was a finalist again in 2009. Harris was named to the 2009 Consensus Draft Services preseason All-American team. His first player to repeat as the PSAC West Offensive Player of the Year. He was a three-time All-PSAC West selection and was the PSAC West Rookie of the Year as a freshman. In his final game at Edinburgh, a NCAA playoff game against West Liberty University, Harris set the Division II record with 630 passing yards in a playoff game. However, West Liberty would win the game 84-63. The two teams combined for 1,394 yards. Harris finished career in college with 11,899 yards passing, completing 66% of his passes, and throwing for 100 touchdowns. I know it's a small school, but those numbers are outstanding. And again, these small school / world traveling guys could be stars in the XFL. I know some people watch Canadian football, so it's not like it's told that they've totally just gone, unnoticed. But it's nothing like here in America. I know CFL comes on down here or something, but if they can just get that spotlight and show what they can do, then I think the world is theirs. These three guys, and even the Canadian Football League is an offensive league like the XFL is going to be. So I think the CFL will be a good spot to start looking for quarterbacks or looking for players in general. Especially if you can offer them, one, a chance to come back home and play in America, and two, better money. Maybe not a whole lot better, maybe around the same, but you get to come home, come to America and play. Nothing against Canada. A lot of guys probably still have family down here, so why not just come down here and play football? I think it'd be a good thing to look at these three quarterbacks. I hope the XFL's listening. You're listening to your fans, XFL. Look at these guys. So, he went undrafted, of course, because he's small school. He got picked up by Jaguars on April 24th, 2010. However, he was waived the following preseason. He signed with the Arena Football League's Arizona Rattlers. He also signed with the United Football League's Hartford Colonials, Buffalo Bills. Signed him, cut him. In 2011, he signed with the Orlando Predators of the Arena Football. Didn't do nothing there. However, his big break came in the CFL. On March 29th, 2012, he signed with the Toronto Argonauts. In an Argonauts' second and final preseason game of the 2012 CFL season, Harris threw 13 completions and 15 attempts for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. His performance earned him a spot on the roster. He played 2 games that year, completing 8 of 19 throws for 80 yards. Harris continued a strong preseason. The first preseason of the 2013 season, completing 8 of 11 pass attempts for 115 yards. During the 2014 season, he started one game and played in 5 others. For the season, he had attempted 60 passes, completing 42 of them for 2 touchdowns and an interception. During the 2015 preseason, the Argonauts announced that Ricky Ray, the incumbent starting quarterback, would miss the first 6 weeks, coming from a torn rotator cuff. Harris will become the starting quarterback for Week 1. Harris started the first 16 games of the CFL season for the Argonauts as Ricky Ray's injury took longer to rehab. He led the Argonauts to a 9-7 record before Ray would start the final 2 games of the season in the lone playoff game. During his first season as a starting quarterback, he played pretty good. He completed 382 passes on 530 attempts for 4,354 yards, 33 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, both league highs. So he led the league in touchdowns and led the league in interceptions. But again, in leagues like the CFL and what the XFL is going to be, you're gonna throw a lot of picks. You're gonna be chunking the ball trying to get offensive yards. So you're gonna chunk it. You're gonna heave it up Brett Favre style, and it's gonna get intercepted. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. 50 touchdowns, 12 picks. Most of those picks came on him just chunking it up and hoping somebody catches it. So I mean, so it's gonna happen. Within the first few hours of free agency, starting on February 9, 2016, the Ottawa Red Blacks announced that Harris had signed with them to a 2-year contract. He began the season as a backup to Henry Burris, who turned 41 years old when the season began. Harris made his Red Blacks debut partway through the opening game of the season after Burris injured his finger while receiving a ball from a shotgun snap. Harris completed 17 of 19 passes for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions to lead a dramatic overtime victory over the defending Grey Cup champion Edmonton Eskimos. He came in halfway through the game and threw for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns and led his team back. Following the game, it was announced that Burris would be placed on the 1-game injured list, making Harris starting quarterback for Week 2. Only a couple days later, it was announced that Burris had been transferred to the 6-game injured list. Harris was named Player of the Week 3 times in the month of July and chose as the second-best player of the month behind teammate wide receiver Chris Williams. Harris was injured during a July 22nd, Week 5 game against the Rough Riders and replaced by backup Brock Jensen for the game. The following week, Henry Burris returned from injury, and Harris considered week to week with knee and ankle injuries. Following the Week 9 loss to the Alouettes, Ottawa coach Rick Campbell announced that Harris would return to the starting lineup for Week 10 against BC Lions. In his absence, club has lost 3 or 4 games. So they kind of realized, hey, Harris might be our best bet on winning games. You know, he got hurt, the incumbent come back, and they're like, you know what, we keep losing, maybe we do need him. Maybe we need him to win games. Harry started the next 6 games for the Red Blacks, but was ultimately unable to meet expectations, only winning 2 of them and losing 4. He was subsequently benched again in favor of Henry Burris. Under Burris' leadership, the Red Blacks went on to win the 104th Grey Cup, so they came back. Within the week of the Grey Cup, general manager stated that on how the contracts were structured of Burris and Harris, the team planned for Harris to be the starting quarterback for the next season. Burris retired on January 2017. Harris started the first 12 games of the 2017 season for the Red Blacks before leaving the team's Week 12 game against the Hamilton Tigers. After suffering a shoulder injury a couple of days later, it was announced by head coach Rick Campbell that Harris would be out at least a couple of weeks with a brief shoulder. Harris concluded his 2017 campaign having set new career highs in completions, attempts, and passing yards, leading Ottawa to the playoffs with 30 catches this season. Not long after the season wrapped up, the Red Blacks and Harris agreed to a 1-year extension, keeping him with the club throughout the 2018 CFL season. Harris was set to become a free agent in February 2018, had both sides not been able to come to a deal. Harris' most productive season came last year in 2018, setting career highs in pass attempts, completions, and yards. In the Red Blacks East final playoff game against the Tiger Cats, Harris set a CFL record for most passing touchdowns in a single playoff game with 6. He completed 29 of 32 passing for 367 yards, leading the Red Blacks to their 3rd Grey Cup appearance in 4 years. However, Harris and the Red Blacks was bested by the Stampeders. So he's got good numbers for when he played. Here is his stats over the years in the CFL. He had 1,512 completions on 2,149 attempts, 70% completion. So, I mean, that's really good. Better than Levi Mitchell, even though Levi Mitchell beat him in the Grey Cup. His touchdown interception ratio was 104 to 46. He had 18,155 passing yards. So, again, in a passing league like the XFL is going to be, I think these guys are perfect. They've been in weird leagues. Canadian football is a little weird. So I think they can adapt to different styles of football. They obviously can chunk the ball very far. So I think it'd be a good fit for the XFL. So the last CFL quarterback I'm going to talk about is Mike Riley. He plays for the Edmonton Eskimos. He was starting quarterback for them when they won the 103rd Grey Cup and was named the Grey Cup Most Valuable Player that year. He was originally signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers as an undrafted free agent in 2009. He played college football at Central Washington. He was named CFL's Most Outstanding Player in 2017. He was also a member of the BC Lions, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, St. Louis Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks. There's a lot of teams to be on, and he's only 33. He's the oldest by far of these three that we talked about. He played his high school football in Washington State. In his college, he was co-runner-up for the Harlan Hill Trophy, which presented to the nation's top Division II player as a senior. He threw a touchdown pass in all 46 games of his college career, giving him the NCAA All-Divisions record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass. This record would be tied in 2004 by Marshall's Rakeem Cato. Riley completed 64% of his passes over his 4 years as a starter for 12,448 yards, 118 touchdowns, and only 40 interceptions. All these guys got really, really good touchdown to interception ratio in their careers. Again, we don't know yet about the XFL, what they're gonna, what kind of league it's gonna be. I think passing league for sure. But the question is, how good would the defenses be? I mean, how crazy are these touchdown to interception ratios gonna be for these quarterbacks? He redshirted at Washington State as a Washington quarterback. Riley decided he didn't want to bide time waiting for playing time since Washington offered him a chance to start right away, so he transferred. And he was the 2008 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year after completing 65.2% of his passes for 3,706 yards, 37 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. He's got running ability, 103 times, 415 yards, is 4 yards average, with 4 touchdowns. He was also named first team All Great Northwest for his efforts. He was also third team Little All-American, whatever that is, All-American, I'm sorry. 2007, he started all 13 games, completed 271 passes, 271 of 435 passes, which is 62.3%, for 3,386 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. Again, great ratio, 3-1. He was, while being named the second team All-North Central, he also rushed 129 times for 266 yards, 2.1 average, for 3 touchdowns. 2006, he started all 11 games. He was 231 for 351, 65.8%, 2,660 yards, 21 touchdowns, 12 picks. Not that great. He also rushed 2 yards average, 137 times for 272 yards with 4 touchdowns, and named second team All North Central. So he has good numbers. Riley was eligible for the 2009 draft, but when undrafted, he signed with a free agent for Pittsburgh Steelers. In the preseason, he completed 10 of 15 passing for 117 yards, but was waived before the season started. He was signed to the Green Bay Packers practice squad. He was signed to the St. Louis Rams practice squad, and also the Seahawks, all getting waived by all the teams. On July 26, 2010, it was announced that he had signed a practice roster agreement with the BC Lions. On August 26, 2010, Riley was activated by the Lions and spent the remainder of the year as third-string quarterback. He dressed for all 18 games, serving as a third-string quarterback, and shared in the Lions' 99th Grey Cup victory. He got the first pro start of his career October 19th, 2012, against the Edmonton Eskimos due to an injury to Travis Luley. Riley completed 19 of 28 throwing attempts for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick, leading the Lions to the victory 39-19. The win clinched a first-round bye for the Lions in the 100th Grey Cup playoffs. On January 31st, 2013, Riley was traded to the Eskimos by the BC Lions. Trade included exchange of the club's second-round picks for the draft. The Lions receiving the Eskimos' second-round pick and also for the 2014 draft. Entering the 2013 season, Riley was in open competition with Mike Nichols for the starting quarterback job. Nichols tore his ACL in the preseason, so Riley was named starting quarterback. On August 18th, 2003, Week 8, Riley threw for over 500 yards in a losing cause, the fourth highest performance for yards passing in a single game in the history of the Eskimos Football Club. In his first season as full-time starter in the CFL, Riley threw for 4,207 yards with 24 touchdowns and 18 picks. He also finished fifth in the league in rushing. Quarterback finished fifth in the league in rushing. Again, that's important. CFL is not really known as a rushing league, and I don't think the XFL will be either. But scrambling quarterbacks might be a big thing in the XFL, so that's something to keep your eye on. He finished fifth that year with rushing with 709 yards. Despite his efforts, the Eskimos struggled all season, and they went 4-14 to make the playoffs. No matter how good he was, he turned the ball a lot. Again, when you chunk the ball up as much as they do in the CFL, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have a lot of interceptions. I think XFL is going to be the same way. In the 2014 season, Riley played all 15 regular season games, leading the Eskimos to the number 2 seed in the Western Division with a record of 12-6. After defeating the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Western semifinals, Riley and the Eskimos were defeated by the Stampeders, quarterback by Levi Mitchell, 43-18. Ending their season, it was revealed after the game that Riley had been playing with a broken bone in his foot and had been in great pain. The injury was caused for the previous game during the regular season. Riley's third season, the Eskimos were once again hampered by injuries, missing 8 games. He played in the first game of the season and the last 9, winning 8 in a row to finish the season as the first seed in the Western Division. Riley completed 214 of 329 pass attempts that year with 15 touchdowns, 10 picks, a pass rate of 89.8. On November 29th, the Eskimos won the 103rd Grey Cup 26-20 over the Ottawa Red Blacks in Winnipeg. After the game, he received the Grey Cup Most Valuable Player Award, completing 21 of 35 pass attempts for 269 yards and 2 picks. On April 14, 2016, the Eskimos announced that they had signed Riley an extension to the 2018 season. The 3-year deal was worth $400,000 in 2016 and then bumps up to $500,000 the following seasons. Riley continued his stellar play following the following 3 seasons, throwing for 5,000 yards in each while housing 88 touchdowns and only 43 picks. Set to become a free agent in February 2019. Riley had worked out with the Jacksonville Jaguars in mid-2018. Again, why be a backup? Now, the Jaguars he can do something with. But why go to the NFL just to be a backup? I know it's your dream to go to the NFL, but you're going to make more money probably and the CFL and the XFL than you would on the practice squad. So, here is his career stats. Let me read them to you. Just 1 second. His career stats is he was a Grey Cup MVP 2015, was down in he was MVP or MOP 2017, 2-time Grey Cup champion. His stats was in the CFL 2,174 completions on 3,271 pass attempts. That's a 66.5 completion rating. His quarterback, his TD to interception ratio is probably the worst of the 3, 148 to 84. Passing yards, 27,625. So, at the end of the day, I think looking at CFL quarterbacks would be perfect for the XFL just because they're already kind of borrowing some rules from the CFL. They're trying to learn from the CFL what they do right, learn from the NFL what they do right. It's going to be a hybrid of games. And the CFL being such a passing league, such an offensive league, I think getting quarterbacks from there would not be the worst idea. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about borrowing, getting quarterbacks from different leagues like the CFL, different big-time professional leagues. Leave me a review on any of the podcast sites, please. Go check out my sponsor, CooperMedicalSupplies.com, to get all your CPAP supplies and needs, or any kind of medical supplies. If you have a loved one that needs medical supplies, go check out the website. Tell them that the XFL podcast sent you. That would help me out a lot. Thank you, XFL2K.com, for keeping me going and put me on the website. Go check out all the YouTube videos on XFL2K's YouTube page and on XFL2K.com. Thank you, Anchor, for letting me record on your app. Check out the XFL board for the latest XFL's discussion and stuff as well. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I am just thrilled with all the listens I'm getting. Thank you for all the followers on Twitter. I'm the most followed XFL podcast now on Twitter, so I appreciate that. Leave me questions. If you got any questions, leave them to me, and I'll answer them in the next show. The next show will be about a very controversial quarterback. His name, I'm sure y'all heard of him, is Johnny Football. So be looking out for that in the next few days. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.